It's the day a lot of kids and parents have been waiting for. Good evening. Thanks for joining us. I'm Marcella Lee.
I'm Carlo Cicchetto. For the first time in a year and a half, San Diego Unified students return to the classroom full time. News 8's Shannon Handy has more on how the first day went, including a visit from the state superintendent and what he had to say about the safety measures in place. Shannon?
Carlo and Marcella, it's obviously an exciting day for kids, staff, and of course parents, but it's also going to take some getting used to, not just being in class in person, but following all the rules in place.
At Mira Mesa High School, students were welcomed back to campus Monday in a big way. For them and so many others, it's the first time school has felt somewhat normal in nearly 18 months.
I'm most excited about going to my classes.
At Marshall Elementary and Choyas Creek, a celebratory mood as well.
We are so proud of you. You're wonderful, wonderful students.
State Superintendent Tony Thurman visited with students there this morning. He commended district leaders, acknowledging the steps they've taken in an effort to keep 121,000 plus students safe.
They have more nurses, they have more psychologists who are attending to the social, emotional needs of our students, and has invested in air purifiers and other COVID mitigation measures that are so important to keeping our students where they belong.
San Diego Unified is investing $3 billion into student safety and success this school year, more than ever before. Other mitigation strategies include voluntary on-campus COVID testing. At Marshall Elementary, there's assigned seating for lunch and social distancing markers. But the one issue that's most controversial is requiring masks be worn not only inside, which is required by the state, but outside as well, unless students are eating, taking part in PE class, sports, or performing arts. This despite opposition from some parents who want masks to be a choice.
I'm not here to politicize anything. I'm not here to tell anybody what their choices need to be. I can only share what the facts are, and the facts keep us safe.
District officials hope outdoor masking will help reduce the number of students who have to miss school if they come into contact with someone with COVID. Based on new policies, students and staff don't have to leave school if they are asymptomatic and are fully vaccinated, have already recovered from COVID recently, or if both the infected person and the close contact were wearing masks and the close contact agrees to regular COVID testing. Benjamin Gerardo, who has two first graders at Marshall, supports the new rules.
Hopefully, with the face mask and hand sanitizer and following all the rules, hopefully they can stay safe.
District officials say about 1% of San Diego Unified students have opted to not come back to school. Those students are enrolled in what's known as Virtual Academy.
Hurricane Ida has weakened into a tropical storm as it moves northeast over Mississippi tonight, but it has left a lot of damage and uncertainty behind in New Orleans and in the surrounding areas.
At least 2 people have died. The Louisiana National Guard has joined the search and rescue missions to help people who are trapped by floodwaters. News 8's Evan Narani and photojournalist Julio Vasquez are in New Orleans.
They spoke with a man who lost his home, but not from the hurricane.
Today, residents across the state of Louisiana are surveying the damage left behind after Hurricane Ida made landfall as a Category 4 hurricane. Behind us, trees down, power lines down. We're in the city of Kenner specifically. This is about 10 minutes outside of New Orleans. And what we're seeing around us on both the streets themselves and just around City Hall, for example, the municipal buildings, are trees split in half. Portions of the building that are trapped in the trees themselves. We've walked up to City Hall where alarms are still going off inside, and it is yellow taped all around with signs saying danger, do not enter. So this is what emergency crews are responding to today, which is flooding in some parts of Louisiana, different fires that have popped up overnight, still trying to rescue many of the people who are trapped in homes in some cases. So a lot of the damage is just being left, as you can see, where there are situations that are more vital that those emergency crews get to. So far, we've received information that 2 people have been confirmed dead following Hurricane Ida's path. Today, still plenty of wind around us. It's about partly cloudy outside, hot and humid and dry as Hurricane Ida continues to travel farther north. Now, just recently we heard from the mayor of New Orleans, who said that for those of you and for the residents across New Orleans who evacuated, they should not come back. There are still about 1 million people in the city that are without power. They say if you come back to New Orleans right now, you are still going to be seeing that devastation around the state and around the city itself, and that they are still trying to get to some of those people who are trapped in homes or getting to some of the major damage that they've been seeing. So we are continuing to travel around the state of Louisiana and around New Orleans specifically. We'll keep you updated on the latest, but for now, in just outside of New Orleans, in Kenner, I'm Evan Irani, News 8.
All right, Evan, thank you. A former San Diegan now living in New Orleans says she didn't evacuate before Ida hit because she thought the hurricane was going to miss the heart of her city.
But at the last minute, Ida slightly shifted directions and hit New Orleans hard. News 8's Steve Price spoke with her about what it was like riding out that storm.
For San Diegans in New Orleans, Hurricane Ida was unlike any storm they had ever experienced before. And even though the worst of the powerful wind gusts and pounding rain have moved on, their problems are far from over.
It was really scary.
Romy Kay didn't get a lot of sleep Sunday night. Hurricane Ida made a late turn and hit her New Orleans neighborhood a lot harder than originally expected.
It feels like your front door is going to blow in. Trees and things are lashing up against your house. You're hearing all these sounds. It's pitch black outside. And it just kept going all night long.
Romy, who grew up in San Diego and graduated from SDSU, spoke to us from her car where she was charging her phone.
All of Orleans Parish is without power for who knows how long. It's not good.
Romy tried to prepare for the worst, heading to a grocery store before the storm hit, and instantly it brought back memories of Hurricane Katrina.
When I was shopping on Thursday night, getting the water and all the supplies, the lines were wrapped around the store 3 times. And that level of anxiety just brings back a lot of fear.
Ida slammed into New Orleans with pounding rain and wind gusts up to 150 miles an hour, destroying buildings, causing massive flooding, and leaving behind a huge mess.
There's lots of downed trees, lots of downed power lines. There's a tree in my neighbor's house that crashed into their front porch over there. Just a block up this way, there's a giant cypress tree that's down on top of a house.
Romy spent the day sweeping up debris. Fortunately, her house didn't suffer any damage.
I just got a new roof. It's beautiful, and it worked.
Romy has a gas stove, so even with no electricity, she can do some cooking, but there will definitely still be tough times ahead because no power also means no air conditioning.
It's going to get awful when that oppressive humidity and heat hits us again.
Steve Price, News 8.
All right, Steve, thanks. So devastating there. Back here at home, a case that federal prosecutors have decided they will not be seeking the death penalty against John Earnest, the man who pleaded guilty to the deadly shooting at the Chabad of Poway synagogue. He killed 60-year-old Lori Gilbert Kay and wounded 3 others in the April 2019 attack. While state prosecutors decided not to pursue capital punishment in a plea deal, Earnest could have faced the death penalty in the federal case. Earnest will be sentenced in the state case on September 30th.
After 2 decades, America's longest war has come to an end as the U.S. has completed its withdrawal from Afghanistan.
More than 6,000 Americans have evacuated in what has been a desperate effort by Afghans and U.S. allies to escape the Taliban's return to power. As Natalie Brand reports, officials estimate a few hundred Americans are still in Afghanistan.
I'm here to announce the completion of our withdrawal from Afghanistan and the end of the military mission to evacuate American citizens.
The Pentagon says the last U.S. military plane has departed Kabul's international airport, completing the U.S. withdrawal from a 20-year war in Afghanistan.
A new chapter of America's engagement with Afghanistan has begun. It's one in which we will lead with our diplomacy.
Overnight, rockets that were launched towards Kabul's international airport were either shot down or failed to reach their target. The attempted attack came one day after the U.S. conducted an airstrike against an ISIS-K vehicle filled with explosives near the airport.
This strike prevented a high-profile attack.
The Pentagon is investigating reports of possible civilian casualties from the drone strike.
Ahead of Tuesday's August 31st withdrawal deadline, the administration says more than 122,000 people have been evacuated from Afghanistan.
We believe there are still a small number of Americans, under 200 and likely closer to 100, who remain in Afghanistan.
Americans that are in Afghanistan that want to leave and Afghans who want to leave, they will not be denied that opportunity.
This video sent to CBS News from journalists on the ground in Afghanistan is believed to show members of the Taliban firing to the sky in celebration of the U.S. withdrawal. President Biden said Tuesday he will address his decision not to extend U.S. troop presence there beyond the 31st.
At the White House, I'm Natalie Brand for News 8.
10 of the 13 service members killed last week were based at Camp Pendleton. 18 U.S. troops who were injured in the suicide attack outside Kabul's airport are receiving medical care in Germany.